Hey guys, it's Dusty. Been a while. Um, Today what I got for you is a breakdown of how strats work for people that are, newer to stratting or they question, how strats should go in ranked and whatnot. So I think figured I'd just do a little breakdown. These are some comp maps. So for example, when you are attacking a site, like you want to know a few things. You want to know where they're at, where they're playing, right? So, for example, if their site was upstairs in Oregon, your idea is going to be okay, where do I want to plant? So, for this site, there's a few different common plant spots. Common plant spots being on this wall, um, in this corner, in this corner, there, on this table, and in this breach. That one's a little uncommon, but those are the typical plant spots, right? So you want to distinguish what you want to do before you discuss what your strategy is going to be, or you'll have a strategy in mind that leads to this plant. So say that of all these, you choose that you want to plant right here, which is default, and most people do this, right? You're gonna think to yourself, okay, well, where do people normally play? Usually there's one white. Usually there's one in kids, like hanging out around here, contesting big window. Usually there's a guy sitting in attic. Usually there'll be someone either playing bolo, playing in trophy. So you think about those options. There might even be one in armory, and then there might be some offsite. You just never know. So for these people, it's pretty easy to deal with those people. You just kind of do it as site is being taken, as execute's happening. But you want to worry about the people that aren't on site. So what do you do in that circumstance? Well, you open your main door, right? So you open this door, and you have a sight line straight into here. If they go to C4 master while you guys are opening the wall, if they have denial on the wall, what you'll do is like if they have denial on this wall right here, they got their bandits or whatever, even if it's cated, this is what you're gonna do. You go below, and in the floor in classroom right here, there's a fan. You go right past the fan, you'll throw a grenade at that, cooked, it'll blow up and blow up the utility. You can also throw nades through this window. You can Zofia impact that spot. You can Gone 6 it if you get right under the bandit batteries or whatever. If it's a cade, you're gonna have to go in there, and either get a ping on it, shoot it to the floor, or you're gonna have to open the ceiling up and shoot it. But either way, so now that you have that process in mind, you want to be sure that this area is safe while they do that, right? So you can have a pre-placed drone in that drone hole, right? And these are all things that you think about prior to pushing the building. You're like, okay, this is what I want to do, so this is what I'm setting up for. So you prepare for this. You put your drone here in the prep phase. You're watching it. You see if anyone goes downstairs. You're listening. You can even have a stage drone just hanging out here, watching this hatch for drop. Also watching the hatch to see if they open it and they're playing like a hole through the wall here. A lot of teams will do that. So once you get to that point, you get the stuff off the wall. You got to think to yourself, okay, I'm opening this wall now. This wall, open. What am I doing? Is Thermite rotating and opening this wall, and you guys are like pushing through here as you guys push through here and are watching this? You got to think about that. Personally, I don't like doing that. I think the best way to attack this site is to have one on window here, holding this angle towards white. You have one contesting this doorway from here. One person hangs out here and watches this swing, and that person plants right here. Now, obviously, the person top white is able to be seen from this guy in trophy here. So, I mean, there's a lot that can happen, but most likely, what's gonna happen is this guy top white is gonna swing this, peeking the big window guy, and big window has to kill that guy. If he loses that gunfight, like that, this position here is your power position because it cuts the entire white flank off, right? Everything that they try to do, if they try to go through a rotate right here, if they try to, you know, come back from sight, right? It's not gonna work because this man is watching that with his face. Flanks, obviously, you'll have dealt with that prior. You'll probably have an air jab here or some track stingers down these stairs. Maybe even just a drone watching it. But you'll have that Z drone even. You could have the person that's not doing anything hop on cams. Like I said, you only got one here, one here, one here, and one planting. So that leaves you with one player to do whatever he's got to do. Or if he's dead, then he's on cams already. You can do this with less people. This person doesn't have to be there. He can hold this by himself, and he can hold this by himself. That's why I don't really like taking attic per se, because taking this, you have to drop here, and if they're watching this angle, it's really hard to contest. The point isn't to discuss this strat specifically, but just to get the process in your mind of like, this is how I should be doing this. This is how I should be thinking about this. You want to think to yourself, what is the most minimal way that I can get into the building, do what I got to do, and get plant down? Because I'll tell you what, standing here, here, right, and like no one planting, how are you going to win the round if no one's, like, if plant's not down? No one's going to be peeking you in high elo, right? No one's typically going to peek you on that. As soon as plant goes down, all defenders are freaking out. They're like, okay, we need to go now. So they're swinging things, and they're trying to make the best of the situation, right? That's when they make mistakes. When they're in a rush, they make mistakes. Plant down just guarantees mistakes made and aggression. You're definitely going to have to win your gunfights, but ensuring a plant is going to help you win way more rounds. And the same thing goes with like defensive strats. You want to prevent planting as best possible. You're going to put holes here. You're going to have someone playing downstairs. You could have a whole line here. So if they hop up on this table, you can shoot them from classroom. You'll have some holes for the big window jump in. Again, that person playing downstairs. Hatches both open so you can rotate. You can even have your holes through meeting wall like I was telling you. If you leave this wall soft, you can put some head holes on it. Put some head holes here or rotate there. And you can see this long angle onto the top main. Right? Like, when you make a strat for defense, especially in ranked, you got to think from a ranked perspective. What are they thinking about? You know what I mean? When they're droning the building and they see holes here and here and here and a bunch of people around with a bunch of util, every time they get a drone in, they get a drone into master. Here it gets jammed by your jammer here. And then, they're like, okay, well, let's try to drone up white. Let's see about a white take. It gets jammed here, or you got your jammer like on the top of the stairs. It doesn't make it all the way up. They're like, okay, well, what next? Let's do an attic take. You got your denial here. They go into bottom tower. You start shooting them through the wall. It's going to confuse them, and it's going to take them a lot of time. And then on attack, remember how I was talking about when plant's down and everyone makes mistakes? Well, on attack, when there's little time left, they're in rush mode. They're in mistake mode. They're going to try to do things that typically wouldn't work, but they have to do it because they don't have time to do anything else. You just have to be prepared for that. So, like, 30 seconds left, 4v5 or 5v4 or whatever, doesn't matter. They might just 4-man up white into sight. You know what I mean? You got to be ready for that kind of thing. The good thing about having holes here in this wall is if you ever rotate games, and they decide to push white late, someone, an addict, can just sit here and hold this angle all the way to top white. It's really hard for this person to win that. If they're walking up these stairs, they're worried about someone sitting behind the bomb here. They're worried about someone sitting in this corner and here and here and here. So when they're worried about all that stuff, like the last place that they're checking immediately is this hole across the fucking room, right? And then the higher elo you get, you're gonna have to watch out for flanks. You guys are gonna have, like, your stack is gonna have to have a dedicated flank watch. It's super important, especially in higher elo. Like I said, people like to come up behind and get aggressive. You know, even there might even be 2 people, 3 people, just flanking randomly. But yeah, so that's sort of my like strat ideology breakdown. I could start doing more strat related things if you guys are interested in that. Maybe make some like strat dedicated videos where I go over some, you know, maybe unethical strats or common strats, some strats you'd see in Diamond, some strats you'd see in Comp, you know, whatever. I could do breakdowns of Pro League strats. Just let me know in the comments what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Love you.